Hello, I'm Avery or Hazel or Kylie. You can just pick one, I don't care.
Hello, I am Lily.
And welcome to the From the Closet podcast. Today we are covering X-Men The Last Stand. As such, this podcast will contain spoilers for that movie. If you would like to avoid those spoilers, you can find a link in the description below to the Just Watch page for this movie. That page will have links to all the places you can rent, purchase, or stream it. For us here in the US, it's available on Disney Plus.
It
Also in the
is,
des-
yeah.
yeah. Also in the description is a link to our Patreon where you can vote on future episodes of this show and get access to episodes before they release, as well as early access to episodes of our sister show, Off the Shelf, which is about books. If you would like to support the podcast in another way that is not financially, you can listen to and rate us on Spotify. We kind of need that because we recently lost monetization on all of our episodes. And the only way to get it back is for people to listen on Spotify.
Go Spotify, I think.
But anyway, also in the description is a link to Spotify for podcasters, which itself has links to every platform this podcast is on, including Spotify, as well as links to our Instagram and Twitter, where you can be notified when we release a new episode. Lily will now spin the wheel to determine what our
Oh
movie is
shit,
for
I will.
tomorrow.
Yeah, of course I will. 1 second.
Yeah, and
Oh, I
we
love when
don't
it's
know.
lagging.
Yeah, we don't know what is going to be the movie for next week. But you can also join us next week for the Seven Deadly Sins season 1, the Netflix version.
Huh. Well, I mean, this is kind of strange. It's kind of a strange world.
Oh, strange world. I was reading a story earlier today about how a teacher's job is being threatened because she showed her high school class the movie.
Jesus.
Yeah. Uh, all because of the 3 scenes where the main character talks about liking a dude, and she showed it to them for environmental studies and stuff.
Hmm. Well, that's messed up.
Yeah,
Ah,
but I mean, it's Florida, so
yeah, but of course we're not here to talk about strange worlds
Florida.
and the politics behind that.
Yeah.
Weird
Bottom line, Florida, you're garbage.
I mean, bottom line
Uh,
is, we're about to get ready to talk about X-Men: The Last Stand.
yeah. So, join us tomorrow for Strange World and next week for the Seven Deadly Sins. We will eventually be getting to X-Men Origins Wolverine. Not sure when. I guess look forward to that. All right. So, get out if you'd like to avoid spoilers. We're gonna start talking about the movie now, and I'm a big fan of the term overhated. I don't know. It's just I don't think I had ever heard the term until a month ago.
I, huh? Now that you say it, I think you're around right. Yeah.
Yeah. I've heard a lot of jokes about how this movie sucks and how nobody remembers it. I mean, hell, even Team Four Star made a joke about how nobody remembers this movie. Um,
I mean, I think it's less of how much it sucks. I mean, if a movie sucks, you're gonna remember it. Be like, oh god, I hate that movie. But I can understand how this movie can be not leaving a lasting impact.
I mean, it definitely leaves a lasting impact on me just because I've heard talks of the idea of curing gender dysphoria, which I don't think is possible, just flat out.
I mean, isn't the
But
years just transitioning, or I don't know, living how
that's
you
not
want
gonna
to?
that's not really gonna cure it. If you have gender dysphoria, you're just always gonna have it. Like transitioning just lessens it.
I mean, that's true, but I mean, it's not the same for a lot of other types of dysphoria.
Mm. But yeah, I mean, like the whole idea was like there is the sense that if they were to create something that would prevent people from ever experiencing it in the first place, would it erase trans people from existence? Which, like, no. Like that was a concern for me back when I was very different and I didn't realize just how much of the science was out there.
Hmm. Yeah, and this movie has just a bunch of they say they found a cure for the what was it, the mutant.
And that's oh god, this movie is very loaded because it uh it dives into the nuance of how like some mutants might want the cure, but others are like just offended by the idea that it even exists at all.
It's interesting. Um, and it even makes a good debate on like who's right. And if I'm being honest, after seeing well, Agents of Shield, I've seen the shit, the Inhumans, like literally one of them was just driven insane. I think there should be a cure for at least some people.
Yeah, I mean, hell, Marvel reused this exact storyline in Agents of Shield. The whole concept of a cure existing, and like whether or not that's a good thing.
But I think like in Agents of Shield, there was actually someone that needed it most of all.
Yeah, and unfortunately, he never got it. He
So
died.
yeah, there is an argument about, you know, these mutants in humans, their powers are so unpredictable. Literally, one of them can't even touch another human being without, causing them to die.
Yeah, I mean,
It's not the same as like, oh, I just like, the same sex. There are actual consequences behind these that affects other people.
and it's very loaded. Although, granted, shit, what did they say her name was? Marie can actually touch someone without them dying. She just can't touch them for long.
I'm pretty sure she would want to touch someone for longer than like a minute.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is just. I mean, the entire having a here for something is a bit loaded as well. You
Yeah,
know,
for something like this, yeah, like it's very loaded. I had made the comment to you while I was watching it that like I forget how like emotionally heavy this series gets.
and of course, there's other parts in the movie too, because like while all of this is happening, Magneto exists.
Yeah. And of course Magneto would be very opposed to the idea of this cure.
I mean, Magneto would just be opposed to humans existing at all, so someone needs to get him treated.
I mean, when you've been through the shit that he's been through, I get it. Like I get where he's coming from. He's still wrong, but I get it.
I mean, I still love his character. Like he has it, he does have a brain. Like, you can make sense of his choices while also understanding that he'll do anything to progress his own motives, especially in the last movie.
Yeah, it's and actually I don't even remember the last movie that well. Like, I remember the first movie more than that one.
I mean, actually, remember. Actually, I fucking forgot the first movie, but I do remember the second movie. Where Magneto was. No, someone was trying to, race all of the supers. Mutants from the world, so they had to team up.
See, I can't really remember that. Like, I remember the whole thing of like Magneto trying to turn a bunch of like political figures into mutants. But the thing that he was using to do that would also kill them, and he wasn't aware of that.
It wasn't that in the first movie.
Yes, that was the first movie. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying I remember.
Oh well.
But
Um.
yeah,
Yeah, Magneto's character throughout all these movies is very consistent, which I love. And then, of course, Charles Xavier's, he also has that as well.
yeah.
I mean,
And
they're
then of
basically like two
course,
sides of the same coin.
yeah, and then of course we have the like other relationships here, like the love triangle between Jean, Scott, and Logan, which honestly I don't really find that interesting, but
Which
it's
all ends
certainly
in
a
tears.
yeah, because everybody dies except Logan.
Logan can't die. I bet if Logan could die, he would too.
Yeah, Scott's dead, maybe. Not sure how much I believe that, considering Charles is somehow still alive.
Yeah, but I think if I'm gonna if I had to guess, we're gonna like some bullshit reason like Charles' mind saved him or something like that.
Yeah,
Charles'
I don't know.
big brain.
Well, like I had said before we started recording, I don't even know if we're going to get an explanation because the next movie takes place in the past, and then I believe after that is X-Men First Class, which also takes place in the past. And then I believe after that is X-Men Days of Future Past, which takes place 17 years later and rewrites everything.
Huh.
So,
This movie's irrelevant.
I mean, all three of the movies we've watched so far are irrelevant.
I never knew irrelevancy can take form of content.
I mean, you never know how the MCU is going to treat the X-Men franchise when it finally merges it in, because that's definitely happening. They've
Hey,
already announced it.
we should make new Agents of Shield episodes to have them take over the mutants.
Oh dear Lord,
Hey, we already have
no.
the Inhumans being dealt with by one TV show. Why not have two?
I mean, the mutants have already been in. Well, a mutant has already been introduced in the MCU with Miss Marvel. Now, that's complicated because, like, in the comics, Miss Marvel's not a mutant; she's an Inhuman. But in the MCU, she's a mutant. And then
Wait a minute, why? Because they've already introduced Inhumans into this world.
Well, for one thing, Miss Marvel's mainline. And if they wanted to like connect her to the Inhumans, they'd have to like either have people go watch Agents of Shield, which they might not be willing to do, or they'd have to basically try to give some kind of a recap as to how like Inhumans exist now.
I mean,
And
it's kind
And
of
like,
almost simple if you just like bring us like use the Terrigen crystals.
but then like you have to explain to the audience what those are, what that means.
I'm crystals that um I mean you can give a basic explanation without going
Yeah,
into like the entirety of you know, they have
you
Kree blood.
you could, or you could use the character to introduce the concept of mutants
But
before finally going into the Fantastic Four and the X-Men.
okay, but then you have to explain the mutants.
Yeah, but they're going to anyway. Because they're gonna go into the Fantastic Four and the X-Men. So why do both when you can choose to do only one?
Because I don't know, in humans, they're cooler, I think. Actually,
I mean,
I mean they have Quake. You know,
yeah,
Quake's pretty cool.
yeah, they have Quake. Quake's probably the coolest among them, in my opinion.
And we have a lot of dead ones too.
Yeah, like Lincoln and Lash.
I was gonna name names, but okay.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Yo-Yo is also pretty cool.
I mean, yeah, that is 100% fact.
But yeah, oh goodness. But anyway, this movie, like, how do I love a lot of the nuances we see here because like even like both sides, like the side of like the school and the side of the brotherhood, both agree that the cure is not really the best thing. But then you have characters like Rogue, aka Marie, who are like, I fucking want this.
Yeah, I mean we have and basically the side our main characters are on right now is basically just, hey Magneto, can you please stop killing people?
Yeah, for real. Um, but like sadly, I have to question like Rogue did take the cure, sure,
Hmm.
but like if Magneto, if what the end credit, if what the scene at the end of the movie is implying is that Magneto is getting his powers back, then
Then you have to
then
ask
it's
yourself, is the cure isn't foolproof?
yeah, like is it really gonna work for Rogue or Mystique for that matter?
Good question. However, I mean it can be like, you know how old people like take a lot of pills. Just add anti mutant to that list when you go out.
I mean, yeah. I mean, the boy survived, so I suppose they could make it work like something that you have to take periodically.
Hmm.
So, and like honestly, I was not expecting the boy to survive all of that.
No, not really. But hey,
Oh
here
God!
we are.
And seeing that other kid like cutting up his body uh, to try to like prevent his dad from seeing that he was a mutant. Holy hell!
I mean, it's not pretty.
Yeah, like
Also, who's that character that literally just had wings?
that was the that was the kid who was cutting up his
Yeah,
body.
I'm sorry. All I can think of is like, oh hey, Icarus.
I'm actually not sure what his code name would be. I know a lot of the characters' code names, like Kitty is Shadowcat, and then you have Iceman, obviously. I'm not sure what the fire dude's name is. Um,
Yeah, no, he should just totally be Icarus. Hey,
and then
don't fly
there,
too close to the sun.
Then, of course, you have Wolverine, Storm, Cyclops. That was Scott. Phoenix, Jean Grey.
Very interesting cast. That not a lot of people died. Interesting, Magneto didn't die, but no reason to kill him when he doesn't have powers anymore.
Yeah, something about like the way like the Phoenix powers worked, like the way they were vaporizing people, it very much reminded me of Infinity War, but significantly more violent.
Yeah, very just that was super weird. Almost seems like
Yeah.
if this is cyber like more cybernetic show, I just imagine them just disappearing into code.
I mean, it very much reminded me of the dusting in Infinity War, which we'll get to Infinity War someday soon. But
Yeah.
yeah, um, I particularly, though, disagree with the people who think this movie sucks. Like, I do have two problems with this movie, and I guess we'll get into those. So, for one, Juggernaut is not accurate to the comics. He's also just not as fun as he was in the comics, or even in Deadpool 2. You can check out our episode on that, and yeah, I know we shouldn't have covered the Deadpool movies before going through the rest of the X-Men movies.
But we
We're not
did,
going to
so
cover
suck it.
yeah, we're not going to cover them again, but I mean, we both probably should watch them again when we get to that point like in the series.
Fine. I mean, Deadpool 2 didn't even matter.
Did it?
I don't know, probably not.
I mean, the whole thing with like we won't really know which movies really matter until Deadpool 3.
Spoiler, none of the movies matter.
I'm pretty sure that's not going to be the case.
How do you know Deadpool 3 hasn't come out yet?
I mean, they're literally having Mobius from Loki showing up in Deadpool 3. And like he only shows up when there's timey-wimey bullshit going on. So
I mean, what if he just wants to have a good time, you know?
he doesn't.
Oh, what was his dream again? I forgot. Like, to go skiing or something?
Yeah, he wanted a jet ski.
Yeah, what if in Deadpool 3 he finally gets to go jet skiing?
That's not going to be the case.
Anyway, more about this movie. What was the other thing you have a problem with?
All right. So enough about Juggernaut and like the fact that Fox didn't really care about comic accuracy back then. And we'll get more into that in the next movie. The other issue is just the idea that only Logan, aka Wolverine, would have been able to stop Phoenix. Because that's bullshit. I'm sorry. You had the kid who could nullify powers. All he had to do was approach her.
Okay, actually, wait a minute. All you had to do was approach her, but how, like, long, you know, how far does his powers work?
I mean, it's kind of implied that nobody else could use their powers against him. So,
Hmm.
uh,
I mean, obviously, Logan was, like, the prime person because he just can't die.
yeah.
Which, I'll be honest, I actually love that scene, cinematically. You can see like his body, his flesh, decomposing, but then it's just growing right back.
Yeah, like that literally was one of the coolest things I've seen. Um, Especially from a movie that came out like in 2006, I think.
Yeah. Actually, I can check 1 second.
I know it takes place in
Yeah, yeah,
2006, but
it's in 2006.
okay.
So yeah, what you say still stands, but if that didn't happen, if the boy just said, "I don't want to kill that person," then we wouldn't have gotten that amazing scene.
Eh.
So, just saying.
But yeah, I don't know. It's just a little thing about this movie that it was just like, yeah, I don't think you're the only person that can stop her. For one, there's the boy, but then like I think there was someone else I was thinking of who could stop her, and now I can't remember who it was.
No, you only mentioned one to me.
Yeah, I know, but there was someone else I was thinking of when like we started recording, and
Uh,
now I can't remember.
well, doesn't exist.
But yeah, I thought this movie was pretty good. I do also like. I really enjoyed the twist that um that Mystique decided to just give away the location of where Magneto was hiding out after he abandoned her.
Also, another question. I guess Mystique makes a little bit of sense, but wasn't there other people that got their got shot with the cure, and their clothes just said, "Okay, bye." I know Miss.
I don't I don't recall seeing that happen.
Okay, I feel like I saw that happen, but then I just couldn't remember. I know Mystique was, but I don't think she was ever wearing clothes to begin with.
Yeah, like because like I'm pretty sure if she was wearing clothes, then like when she shapeshifted, those clothes would be overlaid on top of whatever clothes she shapeshifted into wearing.
Oh yeah,
And,
unless she has shape shifting clothes as well.
yeah, which I mean, as far as we know, she doesn't. So she kind of needs to be naked in order to shapeshift into someone and wear their clothes.
Well, that's a weird thing to have said.
Yeah. But yeah, we also, I believe this movie, it was also our introduction to Beast, aka Hank McCoy.
Beast Boy. I'm kidding.
No, just Beast.
Um, yeah, I mean, I'm actually a little bit surprised to hear that this movie was really hated. Obviously, it wasn't the star movie. I can think of better things, but it wasn't
I
that bad.
I can certainly think of better X-Men movies.
But it wasn't
Which
that bad.
yeah, for real, I wouldn't even describe it as bad. I think this movie was good. Just good though.
Just good. Don't, don't,
Yeah.
don't, don't push it. We're not pushing it.
Yeah, no, certainly don't push it. This movie, like, it was fun. It was heavy. Uh, I enjoy it. Like, you know, it very much carries the weight of what I expect from X Men, and it's like Stan Lee created the X Men to show that we shouldn't judge people because they are different, and also that there are bad people in every demographic.
Didn't he also make Inhumans as well?
I'm not sure if he made Inhumans or not.
He was like, "Damn, X
Also,
Men was so good. Let's do it again. Do it again."
but yeah, I don't know. I think this movie's good. I think people are a little too harsh on this one, but that's really all I have to say about it.
Yeah, I guess that's all I have to say as well. Other than going into my browser and saying some ratings if you're ready.
I mean, you could go into your browser instead. This is
Uh,
Mario and Luigi time.
no, it is Wadio time!
No.
So you want me to say the ratings now?
Yeah.
IMDb, uh, again, IMDb gives this a 6.6 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes gives it a 57%. Letterboxd gives it a 2.6 out of 5. And 80% of Google users like this movie.
See, all of those are lower than what. Well, okay. Google users being 80 is technically higher, but the rest are lower than what I'm giving it. I'm giving this 7.5.
I'm gonna give this a 7.8.
Yeah. Too much water, I guess.
Too much fucking water.
Yeah, I mean, Magneto fucking lifting the Golden Gate Bridge and then placing it down so that it can be a bridge to Alcatraz. Like, uh, what the hell?
Yeah. But that's it for us.
Yeah, there was that much water that Magneto needed to do that. But anyway, yeah, join us tomorrow for Strange World.
It's a strange world out there.
No, it isn't. Join us next week for something that you can find out about tomorrow and the Seven Deadly Sins Season 1. But until then, I've been Avery, that's been Lily, and we will be seeing you